me sit first. Okay, well, this is our very, very first episode of our Swole Sisters Power Hour, but Swole Sisters 30 Minutes today. I'm
Hi.
Bri. And this is
Nelly. You guys probably know me from Instagram. I've been on there for, I'd say, almost 12 years, which is when I started training. And also, I want to specify because a lot of people ask me, like, I have a strong accent when I speak. There's some words that might come out funny,
Yeah.
But just so you know, I'm a trilingual, so yeah.
how many different languages do you speak?
I'm fluent in French and Portuguese, and so English is really my third language. I'm still processing it all.
That's crazy. Yeah, I took 4 years. I understand Spanish, a little bit of Portuguese, just because by
Yeah, because
proxy.
it's
But
similar. Yeah.
yeah. So you were just saying 12 years in the gym.
Yes, 12 years is when I first gave birth to my first kid, and I was almost 250 pounds. And my story started because I was hearing negative comments from my family all the time. We would get together and they will say, "Oh my God, Nelly gained so much weight. Nelly's never gonna get back to her pre-baby body,
Yeah.
you know."
How
And
old were
so
you when you had your
I
son?
was 28.
Okay.
Yeah, and so I decided that it was enough, and I was going to prove them wrong. It's probably not the best way to start because you should start for yourself and not to prove anyone wrong. But in the end, it led me to the gym, which is now my biggest passion.
But it's also having a competitive nature,
Yeah,
which I feel like that's what
that's
makes us
right.
competitors. So it's like I'm kind of the same way. I remember when I had my daughter, and this has nothing to do with fitness, but for those that don't know, I'm an esthetician. I've done skincare this is my 20th year. So 2025, I've been an esthetician for 20 years. So, anyways, I was working for a construction company as secretary. I ran the whole office. Had a very secure job. It was very stable. I got paid $25 an hour. So for 2005, that was really good. I was 21, but I also had my baby, and it was not my passion. And I've always been like a huge proponent on following your passion.
Mm-hmm.
I fell in love with skincare, and everyone was like, "You won't do it. You won't succeed." And I was like, "Bet, watch me." So that's what I did. And I'm like, "Nope." I jumped ship, and I feel like I've been pretty good. I mean, there's been ebbs and flows.
Yeah, but you proved yourself wrong by making that jump.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm like, so did it, and here I am. And fitness, I feel like it's always been a thing for me.
Yeah. How long have you been training?
I couldn't even tell you. That's a long time. Because I used to be a cheerleader.
Yeah.
And I was base, so naturally had large quads. I was 10 years old with a six-pack.
Oh my goodness.
They made us work out like crazy. I mean, we were running miles. We used to have to stand there with our arms out straight because we have to catch people. You're having to throw girls up in the air.
Right.
One girl dropped their arms, and it's like, oh, nope, another 5 minutes. Your arms were on fire. So, I mean, that's really hard to say. I mean, being a kid, I was, in cheer, and then you go into high school, and I took, weight training as an elective.
Yeah.
Because I just had to move my body. So
It was part of your life.
It was part of my life, and there was only 3 of us girls in the entire school that took weight training with all the boys.
Wow, that's quite the achievement because back then it was not as popular with girls and women in the gyms training. It was not as popular as today.
No.
Let's be honest.
And I remember my legs getting so big, I was wearing corduroys, and I was walking, and I hear this swish, swish, swish like that. I'm like, what is that sound? I look down, I'm like, it's my legs. So, I mean, I'm 40. So when I was in high school, having thick legs and a butt was not the thing.
It was not popular at all.
No.
I remember being bullied and called horse ass.
Yeah.
In high school. And I remember crying at home, and I would tell my mom, "Why did you give me that genetic? Like, I want to be a boy. I want to cut off my hips." Literally, I
Yeah.
had a really tough teenage years because I was like really shaped like a bottle. You know, it was worse back then than it
It
is
was.
today. And it's funny because when I met Bri the first time, I remember thinking, "My God." I saw her at the gym, and I thought, I saw you at the gym, and then I followed you. I don't remember how long after that. And I saw your pictures, and I thought, my God, this is probably the only woman that has a very similar, that I met,
And I
very
thought this,
similar
yeah.
shape to me. I'm a little taller, but proportion
But
wise and hips
yeah,
wise, ratios and stuff, it's pretty similar.
I felt the same way because I'm like, not a lot of women have our body. We're very curvy.
Yeah.
Very curvy. And
What's your background?
Hispanic and French.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I think like, well, Canadian French actually. I just started delving
Yes, you
into
told me
that.
that. I remember.
Yeah, it was like literally just, was it 2 weeks ago? So there's like this huge, like, kind of,
I literally just spilled coffee all over my hair.
it's like, oh, I smell like coffee all the time. It's my favorite go-to. It's like my go-go juice. I don't do
Yeah, me
pre.
too. And going back to how we met, do you want to talk about it?
We could talk about it.
Okay.
Oh, before that though, I was saying like there's this feud between my daughter's dad and I, because Roxy is like auburn. She's got like this auburn chestnut kind of hair. And we've always like kind of been battling ever since she was little.
Uh huh.
Where does she get it from? So I start looking up my biological father's last name. And I look it up because that's the Canadian French,
What was his last name?
Roy.
Okay.
Yeah, which is, you know.
Yeah.
So I look it up, and a lot of them have the exact same hair color as her. So then I kind of like spammed my biological father's sister and was looking at her son, same eye color, same hair color as my daughter.
Oh wow.
So, anyways, so back to how we met. Um,
And so the first time I saw Brie was when I was training. When I first moved to the United States, that was in I think in 2017, and I got the membership at the gym close to where I lived, and I saw Brie train over there. But I never actually went out of my way to talk to you or anything like that. And I'm still not that kind of person. When I go to the gym and I see a girl, like I'm not gonna go
well, I think
introduce
you're in your
myself. Like
zone.
we're training, like
Yeah.
so you know you don't want to bother anyone. And so after that, I think we just kind of like followed each other on Instagram
Yeah.
or something.
I think that's.
That's the only thing I remember.
And then
I
we
don't
started
know.
chatting.
I don't know
And
how we kicked off after that, but we've been in constant contact, and we made mutual friends too.
yeah,
Yeah,
I don't. Was that like 2018?
yeah. 2018. I saw you in 2017, but I think we just became friends a year later or
I
something
think
like
so.
that.
Because then we went out to dinner. Remember? At
I don't remember.
oh my gosh,
But
the
my
wine
memory-
bar.
Ah.
Do you remember the wine bar?
Oh my goodness!
House of Oliver.
Yes,
That's what it was.
I remember that place.
Yeah.
That was a long time ago. Anyways, and so that's how we
Yeah,
met.
That's how we met. And
Nothing
there's been-
special, but the gym got us together.
Yeah.
Definitely.
and I feel like there's been so many ebbs and flows on
Yeah.
both of our sides, like
Yeah,
her
for
journey,
sure.
my journey. And she competed last year.
Yeah, I did my first show last year, but you've competed a few times more though.
But it was still my rookie year in 2022. I did 3 shows back to back.
Do you want to talk about this? Like,
Well, it wasn't necessary. I don't think I needed to do 3, because really you just need to be nationally qualified, right?
yeah, which
And
you did.
so I qualified my first show, but I wasn't. I personally feel like I wasn't grown into the show for our division, but I feel like it was so new.
Yeah,
You know what I mean? Like I look back at the photos, I'm like, I don't know how I got qualified because I wouldn't be qualified today.
so I want to say something. So just because you are qualified, it doesn't mean you're ready to step on a national stage.
No,
Dude,
No.
I see that happen a lot. Like you gotta be 100% like
Yeah,
top notch.
that's why I didn't compete at all last year. There was no way.
Yeah.
No, I'm like, no.
Especially
I have to
how it's
grow.
growing, you know.
Crazy. Like I still don't even know if I'm ready to compete this year.
Me neither.
I mean, my coach and I were gonna talk. we were, I just got my check-ins right before we started the podcast. I was like, oh my gosh, my coach just messaged me back because my check-ins are today's Monday, January 6th when we're recording this. So my check-ins are every other Monday. And I've been like waiting, like, what is she going to say? And she upped my foods, thank goodness. But we're going to talk about what this upcoming season looks like for me. But I have to cut in order to see where we're at.
Yeah.
I mean,
So I know you were telling me how it all depends on how you're gonna, if you get that glutathione or not. It's because that's how you win the wellness shows is the glutathione.
Yeah.
And so this is something that I did not have when I competed my first show, and it's the only reason I did not win. I know this sounds like, I'm full of myself, but that is the reason I did not win, because I did not have it. And so that's why I took a long off season, and I think I'm not ready yet because I'm such a perfectionist, and I think you are too.
Yeah.
And so we're really more inclined to wait a little longer than most people. We're not in a rush.
Yeah, and just because you're thick doesn't mean you're wellness. So for those that don't know, we're both wellness competitors. Yeah. I'm like, I would have never competed if they didn't bring wellness into the division, because I remember at one point, like, looking at bikini competitors, I'm like, I would have to diet down so hard, and in my own opinion, I would look emaciated.
Right.
And I have a daughter, and I don't want my daughter to see me ever be that tiny for my shape. You know what I mean? We're thicker women,
right?
And I think as moms, because Nelly and I are both moms, raising kids and being bodybuilders, there's like a really fine line,
Yeah.
Fine line, especially with girls. I mean, boys too,
Yeah, I have to be careful with my daughter around that. Like, they don't understand really everything, why you're doing it,
Yeah.
She would tell me things like, but you're not fat. Why are you on a diet? She would say things like that. And I would tell her it's just temporary. It's just a sport. Mommy's not going to stay like that forever. I'm going to get back to my healthy weight. And I would explain to her the process, And now she even knows right now that what I'm doing.
It's grub time.
Yeah.
She's like, yep. Like, for me, I have one free meal a week. So we use that time to eat out with the family. I mean, there's perimeters around, like, what I eat. I mean, there's, what is it called? It's off of Blue Oaks.
What is that?
It's like they have hamburgers. I don't eat red meat, but they have burgers. They have, like, these chicken sandwiches, and they are so bomb.
I'm hungry. I didn't eat my lunch.
Oh my gosh, it's so good. So we use those nights for our family nights.
Yeah.
But since our household, there's like so many like moving components, like my daughter's of age where she's working. She's got pretty much her own full-time job. And so she's gone. She doesn't get home till 8. So it's like we're kind of now all eating separately, which is so sad.
Yeah.
But like we will find one night where we can eat together as a family. Mm-hmm. So, or I don't have little dude full time. He's home every other week. But when he's home, like I still do the cooking for the kids, or, Paul will too. But I smell it and I don't eat it because I'm pretty on plan. Like, minus holidays, I've allowed myself to indulge a bit.
Mm-hmm.
Like I told you, I had 4 cookies last night.
That's great.
But I woke up.
We don't have a show planned yet.
Nope. Nope. And I woke up lighter than my check-ins 2 weeks ago.
Okay.
On more calories. She keeps increasing my calories. I'm like...
I love coaches that do that, because they know that the show, you're probably not going to compete yet, but when you do, they're going to have you starting at your maximum. Like,
I know.
Yeah. And cutting down for a show, I mean, it's so hard. So you need to have everything saved up when you start.
Yeah,
so,
I feel like our experiences were totally different with competing.
Mm-hmm. Oh, I had a lot of food. I know. Yeah, I ate up, like, last week of my prep, I was at 2,400 calories. And my coach back then even sent me to eat a burger and fries before my show because I was way too lean.
That's just so crazy.
Yeah, and it's crazy. I don't want to speak about this too long, but the next day after I had my burger, I filled up and it was so beautiful. I wasn't so lean anymore. You know,
It
it was
looks
just like
good.
filled up.
Nice and
Yeah,
full. I mean, I got down to, well, first of all, I'm 5'5".
I'm 5'7".
Okay, so there is a little difference. Like when you have someone who's taller in the sport, they will have more calories. That's still
Oh yeah.
a lot for competing. But I got down to 1,100 calories.
Holy crap.
Yeah. And it was pretty scary for a little bit. That was my second prep. My
For
calories,
how long?
I feel like it was 6 to 8 weeks.
And did you do tons of cardio on top of that? Oh Lord.
Girl, I had 75 minutes of cardio. And I also had, was it 2 metabolic days? I was gassed. And I had 50 grams of non cruciferous veggies for my carbs.
Oh wow.
I was, my fats, I think they were 40 grams. And fats are good for you. They're good for your brain and cognitive function. Like they actually, like people who have Alzheimer's or patients who have Alzheimer's, they feed them healthier fats,
Mm-hmm.
the avocados and seed oils, nut butters, all that kind of stuff, um, to help their brain. Like your brain needs the fats to think. I couldn't even get words out.
Right.
Like I couldn't even say hello. Like I was saying hi in my mind.
Like brain fogs.
It was so bad. I had a client, she's a nurse, and she looked at me. She's like, I think that you have the ketosis flu.
Oh,
Because
I
I had
heard
like,
about this. It's a
mm-hmm,
real thing.
it's a real thing. I mean, not to be gross, but like I had like nuclear snot. I thought I was sick. Like I thought I had the flu. And I had my friends asking like, "Are you okay?" And one of my friends, she's like, "Something isn't right."
Uh-huh.
And she, I don't know if I can say this here, but she knows the founder of the team that I was on. She's like, "I'm going to message her because something's not okay."
Seriously, she did?
They're best friends.
Okay.
And
Like, okay.
yeah. And she, because we met for coffee, and she's like, I've seen, and she's seen a lot of competitors. She's gone to all these shows with her BFF, who's like the head.
Yeah.
She's like, I've never seen anybody like this sick. And then Paul, he's like, something's not right. And so he took me to sushi. I got some rice in me and was like, kind of like,
Oh, I remember that day you told me you went for sushi,
yeah.
and I was like, I remember thinking, oh, but she's on prep. Like, is it planned? But I didn't say anything. I mean, maybe it was a refeed that she told you to have.
Yeah.
But she didn't. It was Paul's decision to
Yeah,
take
well,
you to
because I've never seen him scared.
Yeah.
He looked terrified. I have the craziest amount of energy. I'm pretty annoying. Like, I don't know how I can get everything done that I do in a day. I have lyrics energy. That's my nephew, for those that don't know, but I have my nephew. I think maybe he gets that from me. My sister used to say that all the time. We kind of like, it's annoying. And for me to not be bugging the family and being annoying and coming home and just like laying on the, couch,
Yeah.
he's like, mm. So, which made me switch coaches at the time.
Obviously.
And then there was,
That makes me that reminds me of eating disorder almost. You know what I mean? It's
well,
just
I feel like that's a topic for another day, because at one point, like, don't mean to like take it over, but we go back into like being in high school and how our body types were not the body type that was like in. I used to wear sweatshirts. I used to try to hide my curves. At one point, I was anorexic. So that's why I never, ever wanted to look like that ever again and be that lean. So I think like I'm super nervous competing again. I feel like that's one mental block for sure. But having a coach now who is feeding me, I'm like, oh my gosh, like give me the food.
Right.
So I don't know if you've ever. We could talk about eating disorders on another show.
I have never had any type of eating disorders. I always had a very healthy relationship with food. And so I know you have in the past, and I've had friends who've had, but honestly, I can't really, I can talk about it, but I can't relate to it.
Yeah.
Yes, I've put myself on diets, extreme diets, and everything, but everything was with a purpose and a goal, and I knew it was going to be temporary. It would get me somewhere, and I never like restricted myself to the point where no, I'm not gonna eat at the restaurant if my like if there's a birthday party. I was never like, oh,
Yeah.
I'm gonna bring my Tupperware to the restaurant or to my mom's house, and he's like, I wasn't like that.
Yeah, I used to bring my own food to high school, like the butter lettuce and tuna with lemon.
Oh my goodness, the
I know.
tuna.
It was so, I mean, actually, she's like, no, but I'm like, I actually like it. But I don't eat red meat, so I think we have different palates.
Yeah.
Unless we got a cow. That's something like we've talked about. Like if we were to go in with another family and have like fresh local meat, I would maybe consider eating red meat.
Oh wow.
But Paul's like, all these Brazilians, they eat steak. Like,
Actually.
look at their physiques. I'm like,
I love red meat. I would eat it every day. I'm actually considering the carnivore diet right now. It's tempting, but yeah, I know.
no. I can go. I mean, I've actually. So there's this podcast I watched with Joe Rogan and Peters. What is it? What is his name?
I know what you. I know who it is. Yeah,
And I've sent
forgot
it to.
his name.
It's actually. I've sent it to a few people who have like. For instance, Roxy's dad. I sent it to him because he had like a cancer scare on his face, and he has like. I mean, we're the same age, and he's talking about arthritis.
Right.
And so I watched the entire podcast. I'm like, dude, like this is not something I can do, but here, take a listen. I'm not going to force anything on you, but you take what you want from this. But he was saying in the podcast how it cured his daughter's arthritis.
I truly believe that.
And I mean, so.
And it's funny. I was just, this reminds me when I am someone who has chronic lower back pain. Okay, like right now I'm fine, but it's been a few years. Never went to the doctor for it, whatever. I think it's just overused, like training for so long, I guess. It's not all the time, but when I sleep on my stomach, and then my back is so stiff, I get up, and every time I get up from a chair, it will hurt me anyways. When I was on prep and I dieted for 8 months and I was eating super clean, never eating out, never cheating, my pain was gone. Crazy. So there's food that creates inflammation in your body that will make the pain worse. So if you stick to it, eating clean, some pain will go away. I truly believe that.
It's like gluten.
Yeah.
I had gluten on Christmas Day. And I'm like, oh my gosh, the next 3 days my knees were aching.
Yeah, you see the difference right away.
Yeah. But there's one little like hypothesis I have. So when I started training with Josh, he has been doing heavier loads in my back squat. I mean, he watches me, he's there to spot, right? I kid you not. Because I have always kind of, I don't want to say babied, because I have lower back pain too. I've been very cognitive over my back pain and not doing heavy load. Mm-hmm. Since training with him, my back pain's gone.
Oh, wow.
So there was another study I watched that like having that heavier load, especially in women who are close to 40s, 50s, and 60s, we're actually supposed to train a little heavier because that compression on those joints actually helps it heal.
Really? Mm-hmm. That's interesting. I never heard of that one.
Yeah. And so, like, I didn't realize, I mean, I watched that later after I already started telling Josh, I'm like, my back isn't hurting.
Right.
And
which
then,
should be the opposite, right? I'm
know.
Lifting heavier.
I'm not even using, like, a belt squat or, a squat belt. I'm not using that at all. It's so weird.
That's crazy.
Instead of, like, kind of babying it, he's there, he's watching, he's making sure I'm okay. Will I do it on my own? Not to the extent that I do when I'm training with him.
Right.
But I still can push myself heavier now. And I'm not afraid. And it's like, it's kind of scary putting that load on your spine.
Yeah.
But.
And so I just have a question. So Josh is a coach, but for workouts only, right?
I train with him once a week, and I have my online coach, and she designs my program, my
Right.
foods, and all that, and like my supplement protocol. And then once a week, every Wednesday, just like clockwork, I train with Josh in person. I really feel
Why? Just because it keeps you on track or it pushes you?
pushes me, and I've had so much more growth.
Okay.
Like pushing me beyond my limits. Like I feel like you're kind of the same. We do push ourselves. I
Yeah.
can train and I'm sore, but when you train with Josh,
When someone pushes you to go even like to limits you never thought you could have. Yeah.
but also having that spotter too.
Right.
You know what I mean? Like having a spotter is a total game changer
I
because then you
know.
can without really injuring yourself.
Like I know I can shoulder press 50 easily. I just can't get them to,
Yeah,
to
right?
get up here. And so
Just a little push,
yeah.
and then someone just to be right there, and then they could just be
Right.
right there at your,
And
your
it's mental.
elbows.
Like someone's gonna catch you if you fall. And so,
Right. So, I mean, maybe it's no, I love it. I love training with him. He's just that extra oomph, and I mean, just the growth I've had. It's
With him.
crazy. Yeah. I had a question. Like, how are your muscle bellies in your legs? Are they longer like mine?
Mine are longer, but so I have long limbs.
Same.
I have long legs.
Yeah.
But yeah, pretty long, and I struggle with my VMO, which is the teardrop over here, and I just want it to pop, but it's
Mine's coming in.
I've seen yours grown. Yours have
I'm like,
grown.
oh, it's a little bit. But,
And that's why I wish I was shorter. I don't like I was the
but me
tallest.
too.
Um,
I wish I was shorter too. I feel like we're both 5'5" tall for
You're still tall for bodybuilding, and you're 5'5". So I'm 5'7", and on show day, I'm telling you, I was the tallest of all categories. Backstage, I was the tallest, and I'm only 5'7". You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So yeah, I have longer muscle bellies.
Which takes us longer
Yeah.
to
Yeah.
really like
We
grow
will
and show.
we build the muscles at the same rate as shorter people, but to have the look, it takes a little so that it shows.
Yeah.
It takes a little longer.
And I think
many years.
I'm stuck in my head because I'm like, you see girls who are like 5 foot, 5'1", 5'2", and their muscle bellies are shorter, so it like they
Right.
look so much bigger. And I've been in my head about that, like.
See, we see these girls on Instagram, like we don't know anything. Like we see pictures, we don't know how they look like in real life. But most of them are really short. Like if I put myself near one of those girls, there's no way I'm gonna feel small.
No, because I mean, I feel like, yeah, you're.
Who is it? I really look up to taller women in the wellness division. I think it's Ryan. Who is it that is? Do you know?
Angela, she's taller.
Angela Borges. She is
Yeah.
taller. I think she's my height. But yeah, there's not many, and so sometimes I wonder if it's for me.
I think it is. You definitely fit the category.
Thank you.
Yeah, and you have the work ethic. You have, I mean,
Yeah, it's just maybe a little more patience, which I have. So,
I mean, yeah, I was listening to another podcast, and it's like this sport, like you have to have the patience. You know? It's definitely something like it's a marathon, not a race.
Yeah, but it's scary because we get older, and so going back to this, like the last Olympia, like just saying we were not even supposed to be talking about all this. We had a plan, and we're talking about a bunch of different topics, which is fine, right? We're just kind
talk
of
about
like
the other
improvising here.
Yeah.
So the last Olympia, there were like a lot of people saying that Francielle didn't place because she's getting older, and the way her skin is looking is just doesn't look as good. Some people were saying that,
I didn't see any of that.
and we're gonna like competing is not just your body; it's the overall look. It's also your face. It's everything.
Yeah.
And so that's why I'm saying it's a little scary because I'm getting older. We are all getting older, and it's just gonna get harder for us.
But we have muscle maturity too.
You do
and
have
that's
muscle
like,
maturity, yes.
You can tell a baby versus someone who's senior.
Right.
And I feel like the senior muscles
It looks
just,
totally
it
different.
looks so much better,
Yeah.
you know?
You're gonna look more conditioned than someone that doesn't have muscle maturity.
Well, I even think like it was Jamie DeBernard. She got her Olympia title at 41.
Oh, really?
Mm-hmm.
And you know what? I think there's better chances for us to get pro cards in the Masters.
I really hope so.
Right?
Yeah. I mean, that is the ultimate goal. I mean, as competitors, obviously we are competitive. Like, I mean, however long it takes, it takes.
Yeah.
But
That's right. There's no rush.
no, I do want that dub. I really do. But then, like, I see some of our friends, and I don't know if we could say, but I mean, even Anita, she looked incredible.
Right.
And now
Yeah.
she rolled into an improvement season. I'm sure she'll compete probably soon.
What was her
But
name?
Anita, you know Anita.
Oh, yeah.
She looked, I for sure thought she was going to get her pro card.
Yeah, me too.
So I don't
But
know.
then you see the lineup and it just kind of like falls together. I think she should have gotten her pro card a long time ago. And it seems like right now is the worst time because it's getting so hard to get that pro card.
It's getting so hard.
And back then it would have been easier for her. I think she should have had it a long time ago, but yeah, she's still young, so she has a lot of time.
I don't know why she didn't. I honestly don't know why, because I mean, she was with James.
Yeah, and I think that her posing was the best of them all, and I watched them all. Her posing game is top notch. I might actually think about getting a few sessions with her when I know when I'm going to compete.
Well, I'm going to start. I messaged her like 2 weeks ago, and so we're going to start. I think at the end of this month, start posing together, because her posing's beautiful. She just has it down, but that muscle memory too, starting to pose now.
Right.
And just get it down. So, I mean, I don't know if you want to do some sessions together with her.
Right. It's always a good idea to start practicing even in the off season.
So I was going to say, like, another reason why I didn't know if I was going to compete, because my dumbass fell down the stairs.
Oh, what happened?
In June. It's a long story, but I fell down the stairs. I twisted my ankle. Did you ever see the pictures?
Oh, yeah. I remember that.
It's not a good story. Like, I was just high on some Benadryl. And I only took half a Benadryl the night before because of a bee sting on my toe. And so I flew down the stairs, landed on my ankle, blacked out, ended up on the couch. But I have not been able to flex my toes, like point my toes, flex my toes.
Plantar flexion, dorsiflexion.
I can't do it. Well, now I can. Because Friday I went and did you see me in the Hocket?
I don't
posted think so. The Hocket, that ozone sauna.
I don't think I saw that.
That thing is amazing. We could talk about that another time. But I kid you not, like they have inside of the sauna, they have this PEMF. It's like this pulsed electromagnetic field. And it was like, it helped with my lumbar. So it kind of pulses on your back. It pulses on your butt. Because you're sitting in it, it's pushing oxygen into you. You're sitting there with like an oxygen mask, but there's also pulsing at your feet. So it's removing toxins, infusing oxygen. You're like in an infrared sauna. No joke, I was able to point and flex my foot afterwards.
Where do you get that done?
Where I work.
Oh, okay.
That was really cool, but we could talk, like we could do a holistic
for sure. That's
podcast in the future.
And so I don't know if you want to talk about anything else right now because it's been a little minute.
Shoot. I mean, we could jump into our next episode.
Yeah,
I know
we
we're
are.
gonna be...
And so we want to ask you guys to just share, follow us on Instagram. Any way you can support us into this new venture of making a podcast together because we've been talking about this for months. I think
over
almost a year.
Yeah,
and so we're finally doing it right now. And so thank you for watching.
I know. We'll link everything below.
Yeah.
We'll link it. And
if you have any questions also, right?
Oh, like questions or any other topics you'd like us to talk about. I mean, I feel like this is a little different because we're just kind of like average moms who
Yeah.
fell in love with bodybuilding.
Which is
And
probably going to be our next episode.
yes.
Like how to deal with being a parent and going to gym, and if there's any place for having excuse, because a lot of people like to use that as kids
Yep.
as an excuse. My journey started when I became a mom. I don't
like
know
that.
what it's like to go to the gym without a kid, you know.
Yeah.
So
I don't either.
yeah. So with that said,
Bye.
bye.